Hello and welcome everyone again to another video, and today's video I'll be talking about the top teams in the Open Ultra League. If you haven't hit Legend, if you hit Legend but you hate Ultra League, if you just need a team for Ultra League, this is the perfect video for you. Open Ultra League is known for being legendary slash XL Pokemons weighted. XL is just extremely strong. Legendaries such as 1, 2, 3, 4 are extremely strong, but that doesn't mean they are the best. Okay, there are some Pokemons that are non-XL and good, such as what? Yes, it's such as Tapu, but Tapu is legendary. Well, exactly, either legendary or XL. What about Swampert? Well, Swampert is good. Then what are the best Pokemons? Well, that's what will we be talking about. I divide the meta into 3 different categories, just as always: good leads, good safe swaps, generalist, which are good everywhere. So the good leads are the Pokemons that are known from having fast move pressure, baiting move, nuking move, such as what? Yes, it's such as Steelix. Yes, but Steelix is kind of a closer in this league because it just doesn't have any bad matchup, so you could even use it as a safe swap. It could be actually a decent lead because you have a decent fast move pressure, decent coverage with the baiting move that debuffs the opponent to the oblivion just to spam breaking swipe. Nobody cares about timing, just throw those. Anything else? Well, Pidgeot used to be the most dominant lead in this cup until Steelix got a buff, and now Pidgeot just lose extremely hard to Steelix. The main Pokemons in this league, according to PvPoke, are Registeel, Steelix, Cresselia, Cobalion, Regirock, Zygarde, Giratina Altered, Steelix, Shadow, Registeel, Shadow, Regirock, Shadow. So, like, the top 10 are basically the same 4 Pokemons. Greedent exists there because it got recently a new fast move, Mud Shot. So now it's just a spammy Pokemon where you spam Mud Shot, Body Slam, and Crunch. It's known for having ultimate coverage against everything, and technically it only loses to Flyers and Registeel. Virizion, I mean, you have Body Slam to spam against Virizion. Dubwall exists there, but now Greedent just is just slightly better than Dubwall. Shadow Machamp, I mean, there is only one person who still uses this Pokemon, and he's known for being the Wholesome _ which is a Pokemon Go caster and a Twitch streamer. You can check his live stream at twitch.tv/wholesome_. Scrafty used to be a very dominant Pokemon in this league until Cobalion and Virizion get access to Double Kick, Sacred Sword, and they just replaced Scrafty. So if you want to use an anti-steal, you use Virizion or Cobalion. If you want to use anti-Cobalion, so you use Virizion, anti-Cobalion, anti-Steelix. Talonflame used to be very dominant, but it kind of disappeared just because the Charizard just does everything better than whatever Talonflame used to do. Charizard, Shadow Charizard is better closer, is a better lead, has a better closing potential, and can flip matches such as Jellicent in the 0 if you have 2 wing attack lead. Snorlax used to be a dominant Pokemon, but the thing is, whatever Snorlax does, Greedent does it better now after they gave it Mud Shot. Mandibuzz still exists. I know, like, lots of Japanese players still use Mandibuzz due to the fact that if you run Snarl, you have technically a neutral matchup against Steelix, which you still lose, and you can hit the Virizion hard with the double super effective Aerial Ace. It's a bad move, but 2 are enough to KO the Virizion. Jellicent was the best safe swap until Steelix got a buff, and then people started using Virizion to counter swap Steelix. So technically, Virizion beat both Jelly and Steelix. So that's why I'm going to talk a lot about Virizion, because there are very dominant Pokemons in this cup: Steelix, Registeel, Cobalion, Swampert, this thing, Tapu Fini, Jellicent, and the only Pokemon that beats all of them is Virizion. The problem with Virizion is just it's an RPS Pokemon. It loses extremely hard to the Flyers. So you kinda sometimes either lead it or hide it in the back, and you don't safe swap it. You never safe swap because everyone should have an ultimate hard counter to this Pokemon. Shadow Drapion is still an extremely good safe swap. Shadow Drapion, don't use the non-shadow. The non-shadow is just bad. It doesn't do enough damage, while with the Shadow, pretty much 2 crunches KO most of the Pokemons. What about Steelix? There is no 2 charge moves that can KO it, even Registeel. The only Pokemon that can KO with 2 charge moves are pretty much double blast burn from Shadow Charizard, and 2 focus blasts from Registeel. And people will be like, oh, what about double EQ from Swampert? By that time, Swampert will be extremely debuffed, by the way. Umbreon's not as relevant due to the fact that you just get walled by the fighters such as Cobalion, Virizion, and they destroy you. What if you run Psychic? Well, you still lose to Cobalion pretty hard. You lose to Steelix pretty hard because the Steelix is just going to keep debuffing you. You lose to Registeel pretty hard. The best safest swap in this cup is one and only Pokemon. If we want to say safest swap, which is a Pokemon that doesn't lose hard to anything, and the only safest swap in this cup is this Pokemon here, Golisopod. Golisopod is by far the safest Pokemon in this cup. It doesn't hard beat anything, but also doesn't hard lose to anything. If you are one of those people who spam Lickitung in the Great League, Golisopod is the Lickitung of the Ultra League. So we talked about those meta Pokemons. Let's move and talk about anti-meta stuff. Well, this thing is now extremely meta, so it's no longer an anti-meta. And a Skunk is pretty much the best Pokemon here, I would say. Kommo-o is not bad, but the thing is, whatever Kommo-o does, Dragonite does it better. Deoxys defense has a niche use. It's not that good, but some people are good at utilizing Deoxys defense, such as an Adequance. He has a team, but I'm not going to be talking about his team because just go and watch his channel. I think she should be making a video about that team soon, so I don't want to spoil it for him. He uses Deoxys defense as a Pokemon that has a neutral matchup against the entire meta. You have Thunderbolt for the Jellicent and the Tapu. You have counter for the Steelix. You have Psycho Boost for the Virizions. So technically, you have a play against everything. Now we talked about the Pokemons. Let's talk about the best teams in this cup. And I'm gonna use teams from previous seasons, teams from last rotation, teams that existed a couple rotations so far, and they still like existed back, and they still do exist because they are just good teams. The best team on this meta is the team that PvPoke suggested, which is Steelix Virizion. Steelix Virizion, by the way, by far the best core in this cup because they are just extremely strong. Steelix beat everything, Virizion beats Steelix. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to know. Steelix can beat everything, Virizion beat Steelix. Tapu can have a good matchup against both because Moonblast is super effective on Virizion, and Tapu just wall Steelix. So with this team, you just don't think. You just spam breaking swipe. If the opponent swaps in a Steelix, you go Tapu. If they swap in a Cobalion, you go Virizion, and you just RPS from there. You pretty much only lose those matchups where like you just get extremely hard counter. So if you look for a solid team, this is the best team for you. But if you don't enjoy stalling games where you like more fast teams that can end the game within 3 minutes, well, because with this team you're pretty much stuck for like 6 minutes, like the entire battle. You will see the timeout screen. I am a fan of Shadow Dragonite. Why Shadow Dragonite? Because I love this Pokemon. That's one. Two, this Pokemon just output so much damage within like very small period of time. And if you watch this channel, you would know how much I love this Pokemon and how many videos I've made so far about this Pokemon. Pretty much every Ultra League rotation, there will be a Shadow Dragonite team. And the best Shadow Dragonite team I built so far is Dragonite, Golisopod, Tapu Fini. Sometimes I replace the Tapu Fini with the Jellicent. I stole this core from Mehmet Shiflona. He's a very, very bad player who used to snipe me all the time. But to be honest, he used to run Charizard, Skunk, Tapu, Charizard, Skunk, Jelly. But Jelly get outclassed by Golisopod, and Skunk doesn't beat the current meta, so I replaced it with Tapu, which has neutral matchups. There is a Pokemon I was thinking of replacing the Tapu with, so stay tuned for the channel. Stay tuned for the new videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel again, so you can stay updated with the current meta. And if you're looking to be prepared, if you're looking to prepare and have some knowledge about how this team is being played, there is some videos about the channel. You can go. Shadow Dragonite is OP in the Ultra League 22-3 with my favorite Ultra League core, Pokemon Go PvP. I went actually on a sick win streak couple weeks ago with this team. So this team, pretty much my favorite, and I always try to run stuff around it. But that's not the team I used to climb at the highest. Pretty much my safest team, like whenever I climb, I use the Gliscor, Reggie, Golisopod. Why Gliscor? Gliscor doesn't have a bad matchup. The only bad matchup is basically Tapu, and if you have a Shadow Gliscor, Tapu isn't a big problem, because if they no-shield the EQ, you can wing attack all the way down, which means you can always bait and they will always shield. Registeel is the best Pokemon, and pretty much Gliscor has one job. If they have a Steelix or Virizion in the lead, giving me a shield advantage, or getting the shields down so that Registeel can nuke them, or giving me a shield advantage where Golisopod will be able to flip the matchups. So those are the teams I usually run most of the time. I remember there was a team that got extremely popular, which is the Matt Beer team. Matt Beer is a casual player. He doesn't grind that much. So those are the 3 Pokemons that someone suggested in his chat. And it was like, oh, you can run Poliwrath, Double Poison Dark. And he's like, okay, I think I have all of them. Then he ran them. Then he hit Legend in the second week, the second or the third week of the season. Yes, this season. Within the third season, he hit Legend with this team. The core, like the Double Dark, is a pretty popular core that used to be very common in the past. Someone was running it with Machamp. Someone ran it, I think, Jamie Fenn, the guy who ran Triple Shadow teams. Make sure to check his YouTube channel. It's Jamie Fenn on YouTube. Jamie Fenn Pogo. He was running it with Hitmonchan. No, not Hitmonchan. The one with double punches, the elemental punches, Hitmon, and Double Poison Dark. And then King Ivy used to run Trevenant, Double Poison Dark, and then Matt Beard ran it with Poliwrath instead. And Poliwrath has a good play in the current meta. Why? It has a good matchup against Giratina. It beats Steelix, it beats Registeel, and it can beat Virizion. Virizion matchup isn't bad because you can actually tank a Leaf Blade and you have Ice Punch to it with super effective damage. Not the greatest charge move, but hey, that will force them to shield at one point. So yeah, a solid team. I totally recommend that. Now moving to another team. This team was the best performing team from last season. Okay, Shadow A/, which disappeared this current meta because of one Pokemon, which is the Virizion. With Tapu, Jelly. If you don't have Jelly, you can always run Golisopod. If you don't have Golisopod, you can run Jellicent. Those 2 Pokemons can replace each other. What if you don't have A/? You can run Sableye. I don't know. You can run Giratina. You can run Walrein? No. Yeah, you can run Shadow Walrein. Non-Shadow Walrein is bad. Shadow Walrein is fine, I guess. The Caleb team, I think I call it, why do I call it my favorite? I think I said I will be running this team, but I never ran it. And then Caleb made a video about this team. So we call it the Caleb team because he's the only one who has patience to run 1, 2, 3 bulky Pokemons for a timeout strategy. He enjoys those strategies. So the idea with this team is that Virizion beats Steelix. If you have a good IV Virizion, you can beat the opposing Virizion. And if you lose the lead, you can just go to Greedent, bait out the Virizion, then you use your own Virizion to beat it. If you don't have a Greedent, you can run Giratina. If you don't have Giratina, you can run this. But if you don't have this, you can run Golisopod. So any of those Pokemons should be enough, should be good to replace the other. Like those 4, you can choose one of them and you can call it a team. That boy Jay, he told me to not expose his team, but you guys, okay, don't tell him you know about his team. I think he stopped running it, but basically he used to run this with the Dragon Breath Giratina. This was before the Steelix buff. I still think that this team is good. Just avoid Steelix in the lead. If you do avoid Steelix in the lead, you should have a play against everything. Charizard used to be tough, but you run Ancient Power if you want. Dragon Breath Giratina is fine against Charizard. Charizard is a bit tough, but you can fast move down with the Registeel after or Virizion if you want. This team, it's a very spammy team here, like in the lead, within the lead and the swap, and then you have this Tapu Fini, which has a neutral play against everything. So if you give it a shield advantage, you should be good. The best non-XL budget team is this team: Shadow Charizard, Shadow Walrein, Shadow Swampert, a triple Shadow. It's a frail team, but you have to be fast and react on everything pretty fast as well. If you slow and swap, don't run this team. Okay, if your reaction is slow, don't use it. It's fine. I have slow reaction, I don't use it. So it's not like I'm not like criticizing you, but hey, if you have a slow reaction time, I don't recommend this. This team pretty dominant at high MMR because people are usually fast at reacting, and it's like it nukes pretty hard. So Charizard has a neutral play against Steelix and Virizion. You use Walrein to bait out the Virizion because people always bring it against if they see Walrein, they go Virizion, and then Swampert should be free in the back. Now, teams from previous seasons, those teams used to be popular, like Dragonite, Skunk, Jelly. I have a couple videos. I hit Legend with this team. Yeah, I hit Legend with this team. I hit 35. No, that was Memi. I hit 35-30 with this team as well. This is a different version of the team. If you don't have Jelly, Registeel is actually better. And then the Ampharos team, I used to run Shadow Ampharos with Tapu Fini and Giratina. It's a solid team. This team, no Steelix, you just run triple hard counters to Steelix. A team that's worth mentioning, the A-Mind Joke team, which is Shadow Claw, A-Slash with Giratina and Golisopod. The problem with this team is that Virizion is just extremely tough because they will have a Steelix in the back to RPS the Giratina, which is the safe swap. Another team, I think this is the new team I'll be running is around this team. Home Slice Henry made a couple videos about DD, Guzzlord, and Snorlax. You could pretty much replace the Snorlax with the Greedent and you would have a better results as well. I mean, he wasn't running Greenleaf because he copied it from someone else, I think in his Discord. So yeah, that's pretty much all the Great League teams, all the Ultra League teams, some old teams. I used to run Como with Jelly. We talked about this team, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. If you guys like the video, make sure to like me, to channel, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.